Welcome to 4ES, the new sports and entertainment podcast in the world. I'm Nick.
And I'm Sean. And today we're going to be talking to you about what we hope to do with this podcast. We are here to analyze, critique, blog, and generally just banter about what's going on in the sports and entertainment world.
Pretty much this podcast is going to be fans, real fans, reacting like fans. We're not over-the-top analysts. We don't get paid the big bucks. We're just here to talk sports, entertainment, and how we feel about it.
And right now, today, we're going to be talking about what's going on in the sports world. Usually that's how we're going to start, just ease into the sports, and then end it off with the entertainment nice and easy, so you're not ending on a negative note. So now we have news from the NHL.
Yes, we do. And Daniel Alfredsson explained today his move from Ottawa to Detroit, And basically, he was just explaining that he wanted to play another season. He was hoping to get a 2-year contract from Ottawa. He still has the skill. He still has the speed. And, after 17 years, wouldn't Ottawa just give the contract at that point? He's their captain. When I think Senators, I see Alfredsson first. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I think right now, since everyone associates Alfredsson with Ottawa, that the shift to Detroit will hopefully change the tides. Like, Detroit's not been doing so well lately. Do you think this is like a power shift for Detroit?
I feel that Detroit, because they're moving into the Eastern Conference now, they're, in a sense...
Finally.
Well, yeah, but I've been really against Detroit coming over here, mainly as a fan of a team from the Eastern Conference. I'm not happy with the fact that we have to deal with the Detroit Red Wings, because they were good enough in the West. This is a team that has powered through when you thought they were going to finally suck, and they didn't. So now you add Daniel Alfredsson, you add these other pieces, and I really think they're going to be a really tough team to deal with in the East.
It's true, but I think that Detroit being an old team, all that, they probably deserve to belong in the East, where the general core of hockey fans are. So now the Eastern Conference, I think it just got that much more interesting.
Well, I mean, if you look at it this way, they were 7th in the Western Conference last year. That was with 56 points. They would pretty much be tied with the Rangers for 6th or 7th. So they're in that middle ground. But I really think with the less travel that they have to do, they'll probably be scary dominant in the rest of the league, which, like I said, again, really annoys me. I can get over it. But for Ottawa's case right now, what's really going to happen is Daniel Alfredsson is going to come back, and he's going to score, and he's going to burn the team that let him go. And I think now it's a great chance for Alfredsson to get a Stanley Cup. I'm not saying Detroit's going to win. I really don't think they will.
I don't want them to win either.
I don't want them to win either, frankly. And I'm sorry, Detroit fans out there. I truly am. But your team has won enough. It's time for a new team. But that doesn't mean it has to be Ottawa. Well, that's enough hockey for now. I heard there's some news going on in the Premier League.
Oh, yes, there is. Right now we have Manchester United has a new manager, David Moyes, who was picked by the great retired Alex Ferguson. Moyes, so far, he's not exactly won over all of the fans right now.
Is he getting them angry?
Well, he's not getting them angry, but it's almost like he's lacking a bit of confidence. It's public knowledge now that he's been squabbling with Rooney. Rooney wants to leave the team because Moyes used to be the Everton manager, and Rooney used to be over at Everton before he went to Manchester. And
why would you hire a coach that your star player can't agree with?
Well, don't forget that Van Persie's now the star player, not Rooney.
I know, but still, a guy who means he means so much to this team. You don't. It's kind of like the Alfredsson thing. Do you kind of cater to one of your best guys who made your team so good over the years,
or do you flip the coin and go with something completely radical? And right now, this seems to be the case. Now, they did win their first game on Sunday, the Community Shield against Wigan, but that's hardly anything to write home about. It's Wigan. But now it's come out that Moyes is criticizing the fixture list for his first 5 games. He has to play Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool away within the first 5 games, and he's calling this unfair.
Why is it unfair? Because he's playing away? Is he afraid the fans are going to boo him? Frankly, the Man U fans might boo him at this point.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what's going on, but right now I think Moyes really has to step his game up, because he's lacking a certain confidence that Ferguson had, and it's not exactly Moyes is coming fresh out of like the waters. He was already a Premier League manager.
Well, you know what? You know what stops all the controversy, quote unquote, or stops all the complaining and all the concern? Wins. If he can win these games, and if he can shut his mouth while winning these games, no one's going to remember these comments in a couple of months.
Well, hopefully the first 5 games are positive wins for Manchester. Also, with on the topic of Manchester United, there's a couple of rumors going around in the sports world. One of them is with Manchester United, and that happens to be the return of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, wow, that's actually a really... I thought you were going to say David Beckham, frankly, which would have been funny.
Oh, forget about that. David Beckham's retired. But can you imagine the dream team of Wayne Rooney, Robin Van Persie, and Cristiano Ronaldo on the same team?
That could be good, and yet that could be very bad.
That could be terrible in one sense, and it could be the dream team. It could be like the 92 dream team of the NBA in British soccer.
That's true, and I mean, you can even go closer to the LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. I can't stand that at all, but it worked. Unlike the Blue Jays, though, the Blue Jays built a team that wasn't supposed to be a dream team, but they were supposed to be a competitor, and this year they've sucked. That's going to be a topic I'll get in later, but it's an example of, yes, you can have a dream team that works, but you can also have a team that fails and make a very long season.
Very true. And we're all on the topics of rumors, and I hate to talk about rumors on the first episode because rumors are unreliable, and especially in the sporting world, there's so many of them every day. But here's another rumor that I heard, and I really would like to see this come through, is the Kimi Räikkönen for Formula 1 moving from Lotus back to Ferrari. That's
actually a really interesting rumor. My first question is, who leaves Ferrari, though? Is it Massa or is it Alonso?
It'd be Massa. He's underperformed this season. Alonso he's on his game. And right now, the Ferrari have not stated that they are currently looking for a Kimi. It's just a rumor right now. Ferrari have stated that they want to focus on the end of the season, specifically tailoring to Alonso. And after that, who knows what will happen, but Kimi is familiar with the team. He's been before. He's world champion with Ferrari. And if anyone has a chance to go to Ferrari and take Felipe Massa's place, then be Kimi Räikkönen.
But is there anyone else out there that wants Räikkönen? Because, I mean, if Ferrari's going around, or at least rumors are going around saying he might go to Ferrari, wouldn't one of the other competitors, like Mercedes or someone, want to take him? I know Mercedes has 2 good drivers, but...
Well, I've heard that Red Bull might be a little interested since Mark Webber is supposed to be leaving at the end of the season.
Wow, that's actually going to be a big hit for the team.
True, but Kimi Räikkönen, if anyone can replace Mark Webber, it'd be Kimi Räikkönen.
So where would Webber go then?
He's going to retire.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, he's really old, isn't he?
He's not really old, but he's old for...
well, I mean, what's old in sports? Old in sports is in their late 30s and 40s. Exactly. Old in real life is not 40.
No. But anyway, enough of the rumor talk. We're going to go head over to some Major League Baseball, specifically with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, the Toronto Blue Jays actually won a game.
Oh my God.
Well, you know, it's bound to happen. Even some of the worst teams out there win. The Blue Jays last night beat the Boston Red Sox in extra innings, 4-3. The winning pitcher was Brad Lincoln for the Blue Jays, and the losing pitcher was Brandon Workman. Now, the thing is, with the Blue Jays this year, like I mentioned before when we were talking about dream teams, this team was supposed to be a playoff team. Bad coaching, injuries, bad playing on the field, constant errors, not great pitching, leads to not a great team. It feels like last year.
So you think these bad plays, all those things that you listed, do you think that's just too much awesome on one team failing to communicate, or is that coming from higher up, like coaches, etc.?
I personally don't like John Gibbons coaching the team. I don't have a problem with the person of John Gibbons, but I don't like him being the coach for this team.
Why's that?
Because this team was built to be a contender. This team was built through a lot of stars and people who, not only make a lot of money, but who were able to perform on past teams. R.A. Dickey, reigning Cy Young winner from the New York Mets last year. Jose Reyes is a batting champion. Mark Burley's won World Series and pitched a perfect game. Josh Johnson, was the beginning of that big trade with the Marlins. These guys were supposed to come in and really help the aspects of the team where they needed help. They needed shortstop and they needed pitching, and they got it, and it just wasn't working. When they hired John Gibbons, the biggest thing that bothered me was when Alex Anthopoulos, the general manager of the Blue Jays, said, John Gibbons has been a friend of mine since I was here with the last general manager. Not exactly what he said, but what bugged me was when he said, he's my friend. There's nothing wrong with Alex Anthopoulos having friends, but I don't like when a coach that already coached for the team failed is brought back because they're friends. There were better coaches out there suited to take on veterans like this, and I feel it's kind of like the Rooney thing in a bit. They bring in a coach that doesn't get along. Not saying that the players aren't getting along with him, but it's bringing in a coach that I don't think could work with this team. And he's done some mistakes, and the team's done mistakes. And I feel, as a whole, the team's not working.
So what's next for the Blue Jays?
The thing is now, anything that you see on the field that's good translates onto next year. They're 16 games out of first place. They're last place in the American East Division. They have a record against the American East of 19-31, so they can't even beat their own division. In the wild card, they're falling back. They're falling back so badly. They're at 12.5 games behind Tampa Bay and Oakland. The season's done. We're almost middle of August?
Yeah, we are middle of August. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, that's really depressing, actually. It's just as depressing as this Blue Jay season. Summer's ending, which means baseball is ending. And there's a lot of other good baseball that I will touch up on a bit later during this podcast. But to just kind of finish off the Blue Jays, as I said, everything good that you see in the field translates to next year. They're going to do their call-ups in September. You're going to see the rookies playing. Hopefully Anthony Goes gets some time. Sean Nolan, the pitcher, getting guys here and there just to get a bit of a feel what it's like to play in the MLB and what it's like to play for the Blue Jays. I really believe this team can be a winner next year. I would personally fire the coach. I'm not holding my breath, though. Just to end off on this topic right now, one depressing stat that I have to point out. Dirk Hayhurst actually had an interesting stat on August 13th. He put it on Twitter. He said the 2012 Blue Jays, by the amount of games that they had last year, 119, they were 56-63. The 2013 Blue Jays, at the same amount of games, 119, are 54-65. But the Blue Jays from 2013, this year, are making $60 million more than last year's version of the Jays. So pretty much all the trades they have made, which cost them more money, yes, it's filling in the seats. They are actually getting a lot of fans, but they're not winning. Something is going to have to change. Probably won't be the head coach, but the bench coaches, the hitting coach, the pitching coach will have to change. And personally, internally, this team needs to figure out why so many injuries are happening. This is going to be a topic for another day, but it's food for thought. The Jays need to find out why exactly everyone is getting hurt.
Well, hopefully the Jays can at least up the game for next season. It'd be nice to have the Jays back up in the ranks.
It'd be nice to have one Toronto team that can actually win and not blow it, frankly.
Pretty much.
But right now, as I said, what the Blue Jays can really do right now is just play spoiler. Play really hard and screw up Boston, screw up Tampa, screw up Baltimore, and every other team they play. And that's all they can really do right now. Okay, so now we'll step aside from baseball for now, and we'll start talking about MMA. I heard there's some big thing that's happening on in Canada, or in a part of Canada.
Yeah, Saskatchewan has created some sort of commission, and the idea behind this is to finally create a sanction, a green light, if you will, for people to compete in mixed martial art events on a spectator level. This is beyond little classes competing with each other. This means that potentially within a year, as soon as all the paperwork is done and rules are made, that the UFC can come to the middle of nowhere prairies.
I wouldn't call it middle of nowhere prairies. You don't offend the people in Saskatchewan. I love Saskatchewan.
I've never actually been.
I would actually like to go, and I'm not sucking up at this point.
Anyway.
But for that situation, I really think that could actually help Saskatchewan, because
it can bring
a lot of revenue.
A lot of revenue, a lot of interest, tourism.
And look, they really care about the Rough Riders for the CFL.
Yeah. But like at that point, what else do they have on the national level?
That's true, but I mean, minor league hockey's big, minor league football is big.
But now they can create something that is worthy of pay-per-view.
That would be really cool for them to have a pay-per-view that's not WWE, because I know wrestling is big out there too.
But now they have, which is now the biggest, UFC is above the WWE at this point in terms of revenue.
That's true.
So we can see this, what happens in Saskatchewan, and I'm wondering now, like it's big in Quebec, it's big in Ontario, and other places in Canada like BC. Will the UFC and any other mixed martial art event be as popular in Saskatchewan as it is in, say, Montreal or Toronto?
I think popularity-wise, I mean, the biggest amount of popularity that you get in Quebec, obviously GSP is one of the main reasons why people really care about it. But I know I've met a lot of people that train MMA. That doesn't mean that they're fighters, but they do the training and they really like the exercise. I think of Saskatchewan, look, Montreal is always going to get GSP until he retires. He's not really going to fight anywhere else but here and maybe like Vegas or a bunch less in the States.
He does have the Vegas fight coming up later this year.
They need to get it'd be really cool if they got a prairie boy. Someone from Saskatchewan, I know they'd hate to hear this, but Manitoba or Alberta, have someone that's in that region so they can have that following. Because I don't see GSP going to Saskatchewan or Toronto.
Unless someone says so, that he has to fight there.
But I don't, I think at this point he's got his choice, and if Dana White wants more money, he'll come to Montreal, fill up the Bell Center over the other venues. Bell Center's still bigger than the ACC.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how big the arena, what the biggest arena is in Saskatchewan. So, if they can get some homegrown talent, I really think it could actually be successful.
So, do you think that if Saskatchewan or the Prairies don't get a homegrown hero, do you think the UFC will not be as successful?
Not necessarily. I mean,
there's a lot of big names in the UFC. I mean, anyone can vote for anyone.
If we had the numbers right now, which I'm sorry we don't. Remember, this is the beginning of a podcast. We hope to get better during our tenure. But I think, as long as there's a large amount of fans that are watching it on pay-per-view, watching it at home, watching it on Sportsnet, watching it on wherever, there are those stars. So if they get, I don't know, a Diaz or even an Ortiz, like someone that they know.
Or any of the countless number of Brazilians. I'm trying to think of a name right now. Thiago Alves or
like
Shogun, even Jordan Machida.
And that's exactly you just need one of the big guys to go, and then you can have the mid cards and the lower cards. But as long as you have something that they know. And Dana White's been very smart with figuring out who likes who.
Yes.
If you can move them.
Despite the fact that Dana White gets so much like ragged on all the time, he is actually a very clever and sophisticated businessman.
Annoyingly a great promoter, and I'm pretty sure if wrestling could get him, they would love it, but they can't. But in this case, I mean, Dana White, he could probably just give out papers at stores or have people do it and find out who they want.
And do the votes in Walmart or something.
He has his way.
We don't know what his way is, but whatever Dana White, whatever you are doing, if you end up listening to this, you are doing it right.
And if you're listening to this, promote it to your friends.
Anyway, enough with the mixed martial arts banter. We're going to go over to...
We're going to talk about the NFL right now. And some news, it won't be new to you guys by the time you hear this, but right now, it's new-ish. It's news about Tom Brady and a possible injury.
Oh, Tom Brady. Well, he was training yesterday, and he ended up getting some sort of knee sprain. He went to go get his MRI. He's MRI negative, so he's okay for now, if you were wondering and you haven't heard this yet.
Well, he's day-to-day.
Exactly, he's day-to-day.
But the problem by saying day-to-day in sports is it could be a couple of days, or it can turn out to be one of those blown out of the water things.
40 days or something.
Out for the season.
Yeah.
So, for the Patriots, hopefully it's not that, because he's not getting any younger.
No, he's not.
And this is a guy you need. I mean,
Brady carries the Patriots
exactly.
Right now.
And the thing is, he's not RG3, he's not Russell Wilson, he's not the guys who run and throw the ball. He's mainly a passing quarterback, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you still need mobility with the knee. It's not like he can put a glove. It's not like a hand injury where he can put a glove on his hand and
he needs that hand to perform.
And the way the Patriots are, you lose Wes Welker, there's The Hernandez stuff. Like, I don't even want to talk about that right now. And the Gronkowski injuries. This is a team that can't lose Brady, or write off the season.
It's been a series of unfortunate events for the Patriots lately.
I just can't see the Patriots, if they lose Brady, making a deep run in the playoffs.
Same here.
And I'm not being biased to those who are out there thinking, oh, he must just hate the Patriots. No comment. But right now, in all, truth be told, if you don't have Brady, he's the guy who makes the plays. He's making the NFL plays. He's making all the right moves. And you lose this guy, you're a
little bit in hot water.
Yeah.
So, Brady, we hope you get better. And Patriots, some of us hope they're going to do well. Some of us hope they're not going to do well. But we're going to, like I said, it's day by day. Day by day, we'll keep you posted on the story.
To continue on with the NFL, going back to the quarterback thing, I bring up RG3, and I know there's been kind of some talking back and forth between Donovan McNabb and RG3, and there's been issues with the coach Shanahan and RG3. When I think about RG3, and everyone's talking about the evolution of the quarterback, they can throw and they can run 100 yards, and yes, I get it. People really enjoy watching the quarterback being able to run. And people enjoy Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco, but personally, I really don't think this is an evolution. I doubt we'll see every quarterback being able to have that kind of mobility. Because one thing's for sure, the guys that are that mobile, they get injured a lot. Look at RG3, he's been injured 2-3 times now.
Yeah.
He won't have a long career if he keeps getting hurt. If your legs are your major weapon,
you need those legs.
Well, you need the legs. And in football, look at the running back. The average quote-unquote lifespan is about 3 years of a running back.
Yeah.
And that's because of injuries and the grind and
hard
tear.
hits.
Exactly.
And just only so much the body can take.
I mean, when you think about it, this is a topic that I want to get up and talk about later on during the podcast, later on in the season. But it's just something for you guys out there to think about.
Food for thought.
Yeah, food for thought. And you know what? We're going to give our Twitter handles out soon. If you think that these quarterbacks that are running like RG3 and Colin Kaepernick, if you think they are or not, the evolution of the quarterback, let me know what you think. I'd love to know your guys' opinion. Well, to quickly continue with football, there's some news coming out of the CFL.
Yeah, just some small, just throwing it out there that we have the return of Anwar Stewart into the Montreal Alouettes. I've met Anwar Stewart.
So have I, actually.
I think he's a great guy. He's a great defenseman.
He's really cool.
Yeah, but he's a great defenseman, and I think he was missed last year. And I, both as a fan of the team and a fan of the player, I'm happy with this move back.
Just remember, though, it is practice roster. It doesn't necessarily mean he will be playing, but
I think he has a good chance.
I think he's got a good chance. He loves the city. I met him in a bar in the city, so he's a guy who embraces it. He at least embraces the bar scene. And, down the road, I can tell you my Anwar Stewart story. But to continue on with this topic and not get off topic again, I really liked Anwar, and you know what? I hope he gets his chance. This team is hitting rock bottom.
Yeah.
Bad coaching moves, bad injuries.
Yeah.
I think if Anwar could, although he's 37, he could be a lot of help for this team. He could be
a lot of help. And we were going to shift over right now
to the entertainment district.
The entertainment district, the entertainment half. And the big news in the entertainment world, and entertainment, like I'm going to remind you right now, it's movies, video games, music, etc., etc. We are going to embody all of this. The first thing I want to jump off the gates with is the announcement of Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, this is not like Grand Theft Auto 5 multiplayer. This was announced earlier this morning, and from what I've seen and read about it, it's actually pretty awesome. It's not just like your standard team deathmatch, like.
So we're not going to run around the city just shooting each other constantly or trying to run each other over with a car.
That will be, of course, incorporated into the game as per usual.
Well, it's not Grand Theft Auto if you're not hitting your friends with a car or a prostitute or a drug dealer.
Exactly. But instead of just doing random games of like capture flag and like team deathmatch, which is what we are used to in almost every single multiplayer game on the market, this is just going to be a dynamic world. players go in and they inhabit the world. You can buy houses, you can buy property, stocks, you can do anything with friends, you can rob a liquor store, you can get a group of friends, you can actually plan out a bank heist, or you can just drive around and chill, plan your own races. There seems to be so much like in-depth things you can do, and Rockstar, the developers, have said that they are going to continue to add this and make the world itself bigger.
That's a great
More
idea.
things to do, and this thing is just going to keep evolving and expanding over time.
The way I look at Grand Theft Auto, one thing they need to bring back, I'm a big fan of Vice City. Either remake Vice City so it can work on the newer systems, or incorporate buying companies, businesses, homes. I think that
They've hinted at that in Grand Theft Auto 5, so...
I really hope, it's just, I know I've seen some of the storylines and everything, I just really hope they can bring back that aspect. I really liked it. That, and continue with the good music, and then I'll be a happy camper.
Well, on the music aspect, they always do fine. There's one radio station that really has my interest, and it's almost like a homage to the film Drive. People like Kavinsky will be doing songs on the radio station. And for me, driving around that time listening to Kavinsky, even if it's real life, which I do, or in fantasy, CGI, digital world, it is an automatic plus in my book. Nick, what do you have to offer for us?
Well, this isn't really news. I mean, Comic-Con has come and gone, and you know, obviously, all the big movies are getting promoted. And one of the biggest promotions that they've done is, you know, the next Thor movie,
which I am thoroughly looking forward to. Especially,
I love all the movies that they've done for this. I cannot wait either. I mean, I'm a big fan of Marvel, and I'm a big fan of how they've been doing these movies. But one thing got me thinking, and this isn't as much depth about the new movie coming up, but it's about the past movie. And I've been wondering, remember in Thor, I'm so sorry to all the Thor fans out there, I'm forgetting the terms right now.
Well, what are the terms? I think I know the terms.
I think you'll know the terms. But you know the scene, the big fight scene with Loki, and the bridge gets destroyed?
The Rainbow Ridge.
I'm sure it's not Rainbow Ridge.
They call it Rainbow Ridge.
Okay, well, their version of Rainbow Road got destroyed. And as we know, Loki fell through, but he's Loki and he got back to Earth. They never really explained.
Yeah, they sort of like threw it in like one sentence.
They never actually said how he got to Earth.
Yeah, and in the Avengers, they sort of just one sentence, oh, we didn't use black magic, and that's the end of it.
But I want to know, are they going to explain? Because the whole idea at the end of the Thor movie was Thor was sad, looking on...
stranded.
And he's being told that she's thinking about you. But okay, how is he getting back to Earth? Are they going to fix the bridge? Are they going to explain at the beginning of the movie and kind of segue, okay, Thor, we must send you to Earth to help the Avengers, and then do a quick, now it's regular time, he's got Loki, Loki's going to be thrown in jail. Do you think they're actually going to explain this, or for the people that don't really pay attention, don't care, but...
I think they might shoehorn something in there.
They have to. I personally feel that it's... I'm not the biggest comic book guy. I couldn't quote you lines and stuff. I wish I could. But some of the little things in the movies bug me. I'm still bothered by him not wearing the helmet. I don't care if it's uncomfortable. The cartoon wears it. It didn't look that bad.
It didn't look that bad. Plus, you get more like...
It's like
FaceTime with the character.
It's like when Captain America ripped off his mask halfway through the battle.
I was okay with it.
It was unnecessary.
I was okay with it.
I feel that you're. I know it's FaceTime, but we know who Chris Evans is.
We do.
I don't think him having the mask on or off will make him less Chris Evans.
Of course.
I want him more Captain America.
But like as an actor, you want your face to be seen, and I guess I understand that. And he was still wearing the costume in the end.
That's true. So, speaking of Captain America, just for those people that live under a rock and have no idea, Samuel L. Jackson and Scarlett Johansson will be reprising their roles in that movie, and also the addition
the Winter Soldier.
Exactly, the Winter, and that's the one I'm really excited for as a big Cap fan.
Mm-hmm.
But Sean knows, trust me. But basically, they're also adding another character, the Falcon, so that's going to be really interesting to see.
Plus, they are, without giving away too much if you haven't seen or read Captain America, they are reintroducing the Winter Soldier.
Which is going to be, if you don't know what the Winter Soldier is,
don't look it up. Just let it be a surprise. Hold on to your
seat, keep your hands away from Google and the keyboard.
And that only goes for people who have seen the first Captain America movie.
If you know what the Winter Soldier is, just be very excited. I think they'll do a great job with that movie as well.
And while we're on the topic of Marvel, I've heard the other day that there's one of the upcoming Phase 2 Avenger movies is called Guardians of the Galaxy. And why, I don't know, but Vin Diesel is going to be in it.
That is disturbing.
Especially since his character is named Groot, and all he does is say, "I am Groot."
Well, you know what? For Vin Diesel, I think that'll be an easy character.
Very easy job, especially when he's committed to Fast and Furious 7.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I'm going way too fast, and I'm furious. That's number 13.
Pretty much, but Vin Diesel's going to be doing that, and the cast for Guardians of the Galaxy is already impressive, so I guess the addition of Vin Diesel at this point just makes the overall cast that much more interesting for a movie and a series that I feel not too many people knew about until 4 months ago.
For the people that don't remember or know, who else just quickly, who else is...
Oh, we've got... Who else? We got Zoe Saldana from Star Trek. We got Benicio del Toro.
Oh, cool.
Who is apparently playing a villain. They're not saying which one.
I couldn't tell you even if I knew, or could guess at this point. Do you know if they're going to do a crossover with these guys into the Avengers? Because does that mean we're going to have to see more Vin Diesel in the Avenger movies?
I have no idea what they're doing with that, but I think the setup for Guardians of the Galaxy is setting up Avengers 2 with the events specifically with Thanos. Anyway, we have...
But I thought it was going to be Age of Ultron, or is that just a continuation?
I think it's just...
Like, just kind of hinting Thanos is coming in later.
I think Thanos is still going to play a part later on, like 2 and 3. Like, Thanos might be like a puppet master.
I've got a bone to pick.
Well, yeah,
the next Avengers movie, but that's another topic for another time.
But anyway, the rest of the cast, we have Chris Pratt, who was last seen in Zero Dark 30. He's the protagonist. We randomly also got Dave Bautista, who is, as
we both know, Batista from WWE. He's acting now. I think he's trying to usurp The Rock. It won't happen. It's cool that he's going to be in another movie. We also have
Jimon Husson. He was in Blood Diamond. I think he's a good actor.
Oh, that's going to be really cool.
And we also have John C. Reilly. Like I said, it's a very interesting cast.
Hey, you can't forget Glenn Close as Nova Prime.
And Glenn Close. So we're going to be keeping our eye on that one. Anyway, yesterday Call of Duty multiplayer was announced, and... Does anyone care at this point?
I don't care at all, frankly.
Yeah, I saw the video. You can refer to it online. Just type in Call of Duty multiplayer announcement. And
I mean, how much better can it get?
Like they have some new things, like the environment is dynamic and it alters to
if you
like
blow
natural.
Up a tree, can it fall on you?
I don't even know, but I know there's like natural disasters that happen. But
That's
it still looks like Call of Duty, and
it's not
for
really.
Call of Duty fans, I guess that's a good thing. But I like progress, I like change, and while there certainly is some change, it still feels
you
like
have to be careful with the change thing. Not everyone likes change. We can guarantee that not a lot of people like change.
And the Call of Duty fanboys will probably freak out if it stops looking like Call of Duty, which I understand, and that's totally cool. But just me as a person who is like an avid gamer, I'm not too excited with what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I just remembered, we brought up Thor a couple of minutes ago, which, by the way, is directed by the guy who does Game of Thrones. Just saying. They started adding some more Loki scenes, like they're doing reshoots specifically tailored to more Loki.
Which is funny because I remember an earlier interview and read up some stuff, and we talked about this before, that Loki was not going to be a main figure in this movie, that he was going to be a side character. But his popularity at this point is so... He is outdoing Thor.
Yeah.
A friend of mine said, why don't you just call the movie Loki featuring Thor?
Yeah.
Because at this point, and you know what, there's a scene with Chris Hemsworth blowing up a rock giant. That's funny. That's a funny line. But he's still not...
He doesn't have that Loki charm.
It makes me wonder if they're going to kill off Tom Hiddleston just because of the fact that he outdoes Thor. I personally think you can't. You brought up the killing thing. I don't think it can happen.
I think it can go either way at this point. In a story aspect, it would make sense for like him to like be the redeemer. But at the same time, keeping him around, like it doesn't have to be in every single like iteration.
Oh no!
But bring him back every like 2-3.
I feel
flicks.
At this point now, by them even saying we're going to add more scenes, I feel that they've kind of not shot themselves in the foot, but they've kind of been like, okay, you're going to have to be in the next Avenger, even if it's for a second. You're going to have
Like
to
just
be
like a cameo
in the next
or
Thor.
something.
Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if they start crossing over. Him and Robert Downey Jr. had a lot of chemistry with making fun of each other as good
So
guy
you want an Iron Man Loki?
I'm not saying that I want that to happen. I'm saying don't be surprised if there's another Iron Man that we see that. Don't be surprised if we see him in Captain America. Don't be surprised if we get a TV series just about Loki and if he lost his powers and he's being a smartass on Earth. He's very popular. The reaction he got at Comic-Con,
who, by the way, he was dressed up in full costume.
he was amazing. I enjoyed it. He makes me laugh, and that's one of the reasons why I love Marvel is the funny and the human aspect to it, and it's
Despite the fact that none of these characters are human.
Yeah, exactly.
They're either exaggerated humans or, in Thor's case, gods.
Well, it's getting to that point where we're going to have to leave the area where we're recording. Well, there's a lot of topics that we talked about that we can get on, but before we leave, we just want to give you some information. Now, you didn't get to learn a lot about us just now, and hopefully the next podcast you'll start getting more used to us. Remember, this is a work in progress. We want to make it better, and one way we can make it better is hopefully through iTunes and through YouTube. Leave us your comments.
Yeah.
We want to know how we can make this better.
And your information is valuable to us.
It really helps us. One thing you can do, though, is you can follow me on Twitter at nvincelli. That's NVINCELLI. And Sean, what's your Twitter handle?
It's at Sean Gallagher 07. So that's at SeanGallagher 07. Yeah, I know it's a mouthful, but whatever.
Don't forget, there's also, for me, I've also written my own blog. It's called Nick's Blog at WordPress, or if you can find one of my blogs on, it's at nickolaisblog.wordpress.com. I've got a mix of sports and a mix of entertainment. I'm hoping to get a couple more articles going. Another place I write for, though, where I write mainly baseball, but I've started writing a bit more football, and you'll get an odd hockey, is Last Word on Sport. That's a great place where you can get a lot more sports info. They help me, and I'd love to help them, so check out Last Word on Sports. There's a lot of great articles. I've written a couple of good ones. There's a lot of other great writers out there, so check that out too. Again, remember to follow us on Twitter. Please give us your feedback. We'd love to grow this, make this better.
And hopefully we'll be able to put out a podcast hopefully every week, maybe every 2 weeks, but that will be our commitment.
We are youngish guys. We do have jobs. We do have other stuff in the way, school. But basically what we're going to try to do is, as Sean said, try to get once a week. It's the middle of August. We're hoping if we can get this first podcast out, we can get another one out as soon as we can. We guarantee you that you have one or two a month. I say one because we've got to keep it going. Thank you so much for listening.
And if there's any topics that you've heard about or want us to talk about, just drop us a line and we will do our best to analyze the living daylights out of that.
Exactly. I mean, this is for you guys to enjoy, for you to listen. I hope...
Yeah, we're not enjoying this. This is not for us.
I kind of thought this was cool.
I'm joking. I love this. Anyway, I'm Sean Gallagher.
I'm Nickolai Vincelli. Thanks for listening.
And this is 4ES. We hope you enjoyed it.
And if there's anyone who wants to sponsor us out there, we're not sellouts, but we would love to sell your product. So contact us at our Twitter handles. Have a great day, everyone.